Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to VidaneTV. A little bit of Tuesday night action, if you will. Liberty Racing League back on the airwaves here at VidaneTV. Showtime. Paul Strickland Jr., as always, on the call, pushing the buttons and making a little bit of magic happen. We'll take a look at the starting lineup here. We are at Talladega. We are in the Gen 6 cars. Looks like we're having some issues right off the rip with trading paint. We'll see what we can do with those paint schemes throughout the night. But there's your pole sitter, number 6 car of Cody Niegels. To his outside, Matthew G. Barker in that number 5 car. Chase Mastrada in the number 8. He's been quick all day long here. The ACDC number 75. So it looks like we've got a couple of paint schemes here. Scott Thompson rolling off on the outside there of row number 2. This is Jason Foskey in the Wrangler number 3 car. Jimmy Reynolds in the 26 going to roll off P6. That's outside of row number 3. There's Alec Heron in the 81. 38 of Rowdy Wesley Hogue. You caught the slip up there. Cole Bohannon on the quarter panel there. So you never know which name he's going by here. But definitely racing for one set of points there. Don Ashton, great qualifying effort from Canada. Going to roll off P9. Jarrett Bolliard, former Vidane Super Speedway champion. He's going to roll off just on the outside of row number 10. You can see all these drivers lining up here behind the iRacing pace car. Jason Fogg going to roll, or check that, Joseph Fogg going to roll off P11. Michael Taylor to his outside there in P12. Alex Griffin very quick in that number 47 car, as is Taylor Lasowski in the number 11. He's rolling off P14. A lot of cars lined up for this one. The Country Time Lemonade number 45 there of Adam Kulikowski. And his outside going to be the 49 of TJ Floyd. The cars begin to roll off the start-finish line there, 2 by 2 all the way through. Curtis James and Michael Ziegler, P17, P18. Shout out to Michael for following the Facebook page a little bit earlier on today. Be sure to get us on all of the social media outlets. Jerry James and Reek Seabrins there in row number 10. Good-looking black and white Jack Daniels car. Kind of shows off, kind of reminds me of a bottle of winter stuff. Really good. One of my favorite paint schemes of all time, James Mayer in the 95 car in that Pepsi ride. The Batman, Mark Mann, going to roll off P22, and you can see just how many cars are here this evening. The triple odd of Josh Stiles back here on the outside. Andrew Schroeder there in the 23rd position in the 48 car. All the way through here, Bob Leclerc, P25, P26, going to be Luke Underwood here. And it has been a long time, a long field, rather. And that's it. Trying to hit the next button. That's it. 26 cars. I say that's it. That's a big field here at these super speedways. A little bit shorter on the fuel cells as we do here. I believe it is a 75% fuel capacity, but we will double check that momentarily. The drivers over in the YouTube chat. Again, man, it's tough. Just a huge update with the iRacing server. I don't think we can go backwards, unfortunately. So the car's already rolling. You might be able to get in, being that you're in the league. Might start your laps down. It's worth a shot. We'll have to revisit that when we get to it. And that reminds me, live all over the place. Hit the subscribe button over on the YouTube. Hit that little bell to get the notifications when we go live. We're over on Twitch at Strictly94. We're over on the Facebook as well. Pace car down onto the safety of pit road. Everybody lined up 2 by 2 all the way through, getting ready to do some racing action here at the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. Start finish line all the way down here to sell the seats in turn number 1, as we hear each and every single time we see a race here, door to door, as they take the green flag. Barney in the flag stand letting them know it is time to go. You can see everybody fanning out just a little bit, but they get lined up bumper to bumper as they storm on into turn number 1. One complete. Give it to Scott Thompson in that 75 car. Ask, you shall receive. Got all the paint schemes sorted out. Funny how trading paints only works when it's open. Have to make sure that we keep that in mind. You can see the NASCAR jumping on down to the bottom side, a little bit more organized down there on the bottom side, and a couple over cars down there as well. Take a look at this lineup, though. There's a great Dale Jr. paint scheme, that number 8 there. Chase Mastreta rocking that Budweiser black and white paint scheme. One of my favorites from back in the day. You've got the Wrangler 3 car in behind him. Alec Heron running the, I believe that's a Martin Truex scheme there. The Bass Pro Shop ride in the 81. There you see him get on by Tracker Boats in the back of that. 38 Kobo Hannon is there as well, all up in the top 10. Jarrett Bollier, Joseph Fogg going to be the top 10 as they run here. 79 laps to go, 78 that time by. Lots of time on the clock here, lots of pit stops, whether they be it green flag or under caution. And you can see these guys running a little bit lower air pressures. They're almost scraping the bottom of the cars, getting letting the rough side drag as it will. There's the 81 getting a quick time there, a couple of laps in. You can see that 81 car down on the bottom side. It looks like everybody pretty much lining up now down on the bottom side of the racetrack. 38 of Wes Hogue taking a peek up onto the high side, but man, oh man. Getting down to the bottom side. This is going to be one of those long chess match style of races here. You're not going to be able to save a bunch of fuel up in the front. So if you're Cody Eagles here, you want to get out there, you want to lead the laps, you want to stay out of harm's way, but you also want to make sure that you've got someone that's going to work with you, maybe take over leading here in a couple of laps. That way you can kind of burp the throttle just a little bit. A lot of times in the super speedway racing, you'll see that second place driver get right up to the back bumper and push as hard as he can into the lead. You're starting to see the 5 car right onto the back now. Matthew Baker pushing the 6 car there of Cody and Eagles. National Card paint schemes there. A lot of junior fans I'm noticing in this league. A lot of cool paint schemes throughout the Liberty Racing ranks here in these Gen 6 cars. But as I was saying, a lot of times you'll see that second place car get right up onto the back bumper, do a lot of heavy pushing, and then everybody in behind will just kind of stay there and punch a bigger hole into that air. So kind of seeing that right now. These drivers know they've got small fuel cells here, going to be pitting every 15, 20 laps or so. And a lot of times once we get going, once we get rolling here on a Tuesday nights, you're able to really kind of get into a rhythm there. And sorry about that, forgot to turn the music off. That happens in live. We're working on some upgrades here in the VidaneTV HQ as far as hardware and all the good stuff. Software, switching up programs in the back end here, working with some real racing folks as well. So we got a lot going on here at VidaneTV. Be sure to check out all of the social media outlets, especially Facebook and YouTube. Hit those follows and the subscribe buttons, and hit the share button too. Let them know, let everybody know you're watching some racing action here on VidaneTV. Got a couple of websites we're working on in the background here as well. Going to be announcing those this week, as a matter of fact. So be sure to check out the Facebook page for that. If you didn't know, now you do. We do websites, we do desktop publishing, we do all sorts of cool stuff here. And if you're not sure about it, ask us, because we do just a little bit of everything. We do merchandise, T-shirts, websites, all that magical stuff. You can concentrate on making the car grow, making the business grow. But we're going to work on the social media stuff and take care of that for you. So reach out to us, slide in those DMs, as the kids say, and let us know what you're looking for. We may very well be able to help out. And that's just not racing. That's just about everything. Most of the industries are about the same once you get it all down to brass tacks. So if you have an idea, hit us up. We're more than willing to sit down and at least have the conversation and see if we can't make both of our businesses grow. And that's what it's all about: growing the business, growing the brand, and growing that bank account. Still single file here, 74 laps to go. You can see just how rough these cars are dragging down there on the bottom side. Shows that they've got a little bit lower air pressures that they're starting off with, and you may very well see as the fuel starts to burn off as this one goes on, you can just see great big line of all 25 cars right in the same draft. Just kind of biding everybody's time here at this point. Cody Eagles up front. He's led all the laps so far. Matthew Baker, Jason Estrada, Jason Foskey, Alec Karen going to be the top 5 as they run. One driver taking a peek up on the outside, just kind of letting it out, hang out there. Wes Hogue going to roll off P6, or rolling P6 right now. Scott Thompson, Jared Bollier, Jimmy Reynolds, and Joseph Fogg, rather, going to be the top 10. Taylor Lasowski just taken over P11 from Mike Taylor there in P12. Alan Kolakowski in P13. Curtis James, Jeremy James, back-to-back there, 14th and 15th. There you see. TJ Floyd, the 49 car. James Mayer back here, P17. Alex Giffen, Michael Ziegler, Mark Mann, Luke Underwood, Bob Leclerc, Bob Leclerc. I don't know why I keep screwing that name up. Bob's been racing for a long time here at VidaneTV. Andrew Schroeder, Rick Zebrins, and Don Ashton back in the back of the pack here. But at Talladega, everybody's still right up in that main groove. Only a handful of drivers kind of peeking up on that high side. Everybody else right down in that double yellow, just kind of parading around here, Talladega Super Speedway. We made mention, got a handful of pit stops throughout the night here. Some of them going to be green flags, some of them going to be potentially under caution. Right now, it looks like everybody kind of biding their time, minding their P's and Q's, and making sure that they get to the end of this one. They do have the quick repair that they're able to use. As you see, Wes Hogue taking a peek on the outside. Didn't have any help, so he's going to tuck right back in to the tire tracks of the 81 there of Alec Karen. But these guys do have that one quick repair that they're able to use down there on pit road if they get caught up in a wreck. But a lot of times you'll try and hold on to that. Keep it in your back pocket to make sure that you have it for later on in the race. It came in handy for me a few weeks back. These guys ran the ARCA cars at Daytona. And I was actually over at John Adams' house down there in Georgia, jumped on Allie's rig and was able to run the old backup car, and it ended up running 15th on the lead lap. Got a little screwed up on some pit stops, got caught speeding a couple of times, and ended up going 2 laps down, but a few late race cautions got the wave around. Got myself back on to the lead lap and finished P15. So not bad for the first time out behind the virtual sim racing wheel in probably 3 years for myself. So a lot of fun, a lot of great driving here, a lot of great racers in this league as well, and it's great to see these guys putting on a clinic right now. This is kind of textbook as far as sim racing or as super speedway sim racing goes. You want to make sure that you're in the draft, you're saving a little bit of fuel, you're doing all the calculations, and you're making them right, especially when you're at Talladega. A little bit bigger of a racetrack, 2.66 miles around this beast. And there you can see Cole Bohannon, the little CV attitude, getting bored. He's going to jump up on the high side by himself. Looks like the 3-car going to jump up there, maybe see if they can do a little magic up there, Foskey and Hogue. And you'll really be able to see these guys have just been kind of looping around down on the bottom side. They haven't really been doing too much pushing here, but I think the 3 and the 38 are going to start forcing each other's hand. You can see the 38 kind of got right up to the back bumper of that Wrangler number 3 car. Gave him a little bit of a shove and said, hey man, let's go, let's do the thing here. And you can see sparks flying and everything as they are around. You can almost hear the bottom of the race cars dragging down into the bottom. Makes you wonder if that's slowing them up any. You see that happen a lot of times as well. But there you see the bottom side just not really hooked up too tight. The top side, they're able to kind of hang with. There you see they're actually getting a run up on the high side. Foskey going to try and take over the league, and then starting to pick up a few stragglers from towards a little bit further on back. The 81 car going to move on up to that high side. Looks like he's going to bring a couple more cars from the back there as well. So these drivers getting into it here with 69 laps to go. Nice 2x2 racing. You can see the 81 car closes right up to the back bumper, pulls himself up into that P6 spot. Now we've got ourselves a little bit of a show down on the bottom side. Cody Neagle's in the 6 car holding on to it, but he's side by side right now with that 3 car. He actually dropped back to second in line because you can see the 5 starting to get all over the back bumper of the 6. The 8 is starting to do a little bit of pushings on this straightaway there as well. So I got to keep that in mind as well. Once again, live all over the social media outlets here. We're on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. Trying to get 1,000 subscribers over on the YouTube page, so if you haven't, shoot on over there, hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell notification there as well to make sure that you've got, let you know when we go live. Same deal with the Facebook and all the news and the real racing stuff that's going on in the world. Got a couple of websites on the go that are going to be getting announced and released here. And we're bored. We're not bored, but we do have the chat windows open, so got to give a shout to everybody out there in the interwebs tuning in here tonight. Baker's Mom, like, share, and follow to help the community grow. That's what it's all about here at VidaneTV, bridging the gap between sim racing and real racing. So we always appreciate that. We want to build a community and kind of give folks opportunities in the sim racing world into the real racing world and vice versa. And that'll make a whole lot more sense later on this week once we're able to announce a couple of websites we've been working on and all the cool stuff we've got going on in the short track racing world. Very, very excited about it. I myself am actually going to be shooting up to Oxford Plains Speedway later on this year. As a matter of fact, next month, a month from now, as I'll be shooting some races up there for Racing America. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun. First time working really in my neck of the woods up here in the Northeast. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun. Once again, that'll be over on the social media outlets, all that good stuff. More details, even a schedule coming up here. It's the first time I'm actually publishing my own shooting schedule, which is, some folks will say it's a little arrogant, but I think it's neat because I like bumping into people at the real racetracks that I've met in the sim racing world, and that's kind of what it's all about here. Having a conversation with a lot of folks. We went to the Atlanta Cup race as things are getting a little bit slicey and dicey up here. Wes Hogue was in that crowd, as was contact. Speaking of Hogue, 38 car, middle of 3 wide, looks like they hold on to it. Bosky going to shoot up to the high side. The 3 and the 38 no longer working together. You get the 5 car has jumped up to that high groove. Bosky going to tuck now into the tire tracks of the 38. And you can see just how hard Wes Hogue is pushing that 5 car on the outside line. He wants to get up there and make a little magic happen himself. But as we made mention, the sim racing community always trying to get it to grow. I was out at the Atlanta Cup race, to make a long story longer. Had a lot of fun, hung out with a lot of sim racers, met a lot of folks, and got to bump into a lot of folks. So always neat to see that happen there. You see the 38 car kind of getting hung up to dry. Pushed that 5 car all the way to the lead. Got him down in front of Neagles in that 6 car, and you can see the 38 just kind of dropped back a bit, found himself a spot to tuck in line. So I think he might have done that, knowing Wes as well as I do. I think he did that just to kind of prove a point, to let everybody know, hey, this high line's going to work. We just need to make it work for us. AC Taylor Lisowski in the 11, one of the more aggressive pushers here in the league. He's now in the back bumper of Jason Foskey. Alec Karen in the 81 is there as well. Kobo Hannon, or Wes Hogue, as it were, in the 38 car, going to drop back just a little bit, but they're still chasing that 5 car of Matthew G. Baker, to be exact. And speaking of the chat over on the YouTube page as well, Kyle Vigant didn't make the show here tonight. Big update for the iRacing simulation, so a lot of gigabytes to download, and unfortunately did not get it done in time to make the show here tonight, to take the proverbial green flag, as it were. But he's hanging out in the YouTube chat. That's always one of my favorite things here, is to see how many of the drivers, either during or after they wreck, or maybe during cautions, they'll just kind of pop in, do a little chat, answer some questions here for us. And Kyle was telling us that the car draft package, these cars in particular, draft package, not really ideal. There's a lot of single file racing in these things until they need fuel, or later on in the race when the tires start to fall off. And we're starting to see that now. As we're 18 laps, almost 19 laps into a run here. Tires going to fall off just a little bit, easy enough for me to say. But as they start to wear out a little bit, the cars get a little dicey. They get a little shaky. They get a little bit slower as well. And you can see that's going to allow these guys to kind of get a little bit closer, do a little bit more beating and banging, do a little bit more pushing there as well. And you can even follow along where your favorite driver is by shooting on over to the website, Vidane.tv/scoring, or shoot on over to, or scan rather, that QR code there on the right-hand side of your screen. The Wingnut Productions timing and scoring, provided by App Engineering. Cool little feature that we've got here. You've got a spotter's guide there that will even show the right paint schemes now that we got trading paints open. How about that? And you can see some of these drivers starting to shoot down to the bottom of the racetrack here. I do know, I feel like the pit window is about 20 laps for these drivers. So a lot of guys trying to get down to the bottom side. They're going to want to try and come down early because they don't want to spend the extra time down on pit road. And a lot of times, this is where we would have, where we would benefit, I think, having the driver chatter kind of on and talking. But for obvious reasons, for censorship reasons and all sorts of things, we usually keep the driver chatter to a minimum here, unless we're working on the Bizzle Network where it's uncensored, which we did last week. That was a whole lot of fun. You can actually shoot over to the Bizzle YouTube page and take a look at the video on demand for that race. That was fun to do. Little off the cusp, as it were. A couple of swear words, a couple of F-bombs, but we had ourselves some fun and put on a little bit of a show. You can see things starting to kind of sort themselves out a little bit. Still a couple of drivers up on the high side as the connection issues might have been on us. Everything seems to have checked out now. Always fun when the internet wants to blink in and out on you. It's just like real racing, folks. Sim racing, real racing. There's always those electrical demons, and there's always things that could go wrong, and usually things that could go wrong end up going wrong. But Kyle jumping in to the chat, cleared it up for us right around 20 laps, real damn close to 20 laps, and we should see these guys starting to peel off relatively soon. A couple of drivers starting to have a couple of blinking issues here. You know, we do have some storms going on in the Midwest, may very well be affecting some of these connections here. And for the folks that don't really know what the sim racing deal is back at home, every one of these cars is hooked up to basically a real person that's got a computer that they're racing on their computer. They've got a steering wheel hooked up and everything like that. No controllers or any of that nonsense. All steering wheels, all pedals, and some of us, like myself, have been doing this for 25 plus years. Some folks have just kind of picked it up. But one of the things that I never really understand, and I got to joke with a bunch of sim racers in person, I don't know how you could do this and be married or you know, even have a girlfriend. Like even me being single, there you can see a big push from Foskey into the back of the 5 car. They're losing a little bit of ground on that bottom side, but they're getting a little squirrely up top. Foskey in the 11, big push onto the back of the 3 car, but it was always, you know, fun for me back in high school and even middle school when I was doing the sim racing stuff, and throughout some of my adult life. It's like, I'm a single guy. I'll just hang out in the garage and race my computer. But, well, I don't know. I guess I'm digging myself a bigger hole here. But in any sense, things getting slicey and dicey up towards the front. A lot of these guys know that they're going to be pitting. There's Hogue making a huge move down below the 81 car. He's going to try a little 2-for-1 special there. He's going to get underneath the 11 of Lasowski and try and close back up to the back bumper of that Wrangler number 3 of Foskey. These guys know that some of the drivers are going to want to try and pit early, and they're about half throttle down to the bottom side to see if they can save a little bit of gas, make sure they can get down there. They want to make sure that they can get their spot down on the bottom line as well, because you can't pit from the top. That's not physically possible. You'd have to drive through a car, and even in the real sim racing world, that's not a thing. So a lot of the guys trying to take advantage of that right now. They're going to burn a little bit of extra fuel. They're going to try and stay out of lap, but they're going to try and get hooked up on that high side, get drafted, and get some good lap times out there. And you can see a handful of drivers peeking that double yellow as they come out of turn number 4. No takers that time, but as they cross the stripe, it's going to be lap number 24. You got to wonder what these guys are going to be running on fumes or what they've got in the tanks. There's a lot of guys still up on that high side. You see Foskey is there, the 38 of Wes Hogue rebounding up onto the high side. And with these Gen 6 cars here, always cool to have the driver insight down in the YouTube. Kyle hooking us up in the YouTube chat as well. So if you're a driver out there and you come down pit road, hop in the pit stop or hop in the YouTube chat, let us know where you're running, how things are going for you. Alex missing the start here early on. There you can see starting to get a little single file action. 8 car all the way down on the bottom side of pit road. But Alex was saying that the cars heat up relatively quickly, these Gen 6 cars. So a lot of times you'll see they get kind of single file right now. When you push a lot for that long of a time, it'll overheat the car. So that's one of the things they're kind of keeping an eye out right now. Just looking through it, don't see anybody has come down pit road. Curtis James, the only driver out of the race right now, 12 laps ago, had himself an incident. And Don Ashton appears to be off the pace, still on the lead lap. I wonder if that 17 car came down pit road here a few laps ago. But there you can see, once again, driving past the entrance of pit road. This guy's hanging it loose. They're going to try. Oh, down to the bottom side of the apron. Holds on to it. Shoo, these guys are getting racy up here, knowing that those pit stops are coming up. Everybody trying to get in line, trying to find their drafting partner, their teammate. whomever it may be, 26 rather, laps in on this one. So doing everything they can to try and save fuel. You can see the 6 car back out front is Neagles. Everybody's still right up in that main pack. Only really dropped a couple of drivers, and these guys know they're going to be getting ready for their first pit stop. Either this time by, there's a 17 car. He's going to go a lap down is Don Ashton. Oh, contact all the way down. Big wreck there. Foskey up to the outside wall. The 75 collects it as the 49 car comes to a stop. The 75 pointed in the wrong direction. Scott Thompson got a big piece of the action there. You can see the front of that thing is cooked. We'll take a look at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. And this was getting down to the nitty-gritty. This is going to clean up a lot of the pit stops and all that stuff. But there you can see they're 3 wide. Contact starts. There it is. Looks like the 38 may have come down just a skosh. See if we can't change that camera angle, because that's how we do. So as they come around the 17 car, you can see the guys up in the middle groove there. They want to kind of come down a little bit, give the 17 as much room as they can, but unfortunately not enough room. The 75 was there. You can see Ho gets into the quarter panel of that 3 car. Don Ashton gets a piece of it. The rest of it is Calamity back up to full song there. Everybody towards the back, though, doing a great job, either getting down pit road to avoid or keeping everything on. You can see the 75 car, there's black smoke coming out of that thing. I wonder if that is, yeah, just kind of putzing around the track is the 75 car. Going to see if we can get that thing down to the safety of pit road, but everybody going to rejoin the tail end, or rejoin, rather, the back of the pace car. That works out in everybody's favor as far as these pit stops go. Everybody was having to come down here in the next couple of stops, so you'll see here they come. Everybody's going to come down. I don't even think you'll have a guy stay out there to try and lead a lap. You want to come down, make sure you're on the same pit sequence, and if it's not a quickie yellow, we'll likely see, you get his car off in the, I believe that's a 5 car back there having some issues. That was your second place driver there for a second. We'll back that up on the. Might have backed it up a little bit too hard. Not even really sure. Oh, you can see he was having some connection issues. Might have faded out there, came back in, and unfortunately just happened to be on the nose of the 11 car. But there you can see the race off pit road, and Eagle's going to drive away. The 8 car, Chase Murata in second. Jared Bolliard up to third. Wes Hogue in fourth. Adam Kulikowski P5. Jeremy Jones, James Mayer, Joseph Fogg, and Bob Leclerc with Michael Taylor the top 10. And everybody else kind of filing in on behind. And we'll see what race officials deem. This may very well be a quickie yellow, which is one of those cool things that we can do here. We could shorten up the yellow flag sequence to make it so we don't have to sit around and drive under yellow. We can get right back to green flag racing here. But everybody going on down through looks like 12-second to 14-second, couple of 15-second pit stops there. So everybody going to take 4 tires here at this. Couple of guys in the back electing not to use the quick repair. They're down there baiting and banging. A couple of drivers still down there, Foskey and Jimmy Reynolds, getting some work done on those virtual race cars. It's still on top of the iRacing pace car, so you might see some of these guys come down pit road once again just to kind of top off and grab themselves a little bit of a top off there. And coming down pit road, looked like it was a connection issue with the 5. Kind of blinked out as they were coming down pit road. It was the 11 of Laskowski that they were real close to coming down pit road. You can see it. Everybody up. Bolliard stays out. Everybody else, it looks like we might be 50-50. But the 5 car kind of blinked out when he came back in. Was in the same location on track as the 11 and kind of spun him on into the grass. So that was tough for Baker. Unfortunately, he was up in the top 3 or 4 and going to have to restart towards the back. Looked like it would come down pit road again and get topped off. So he is in this group, holding on to it. And there he is, going to come down pit road and stop. So he had a great qualifying effort as well. Started back, looks like P2, but good news is long time left on the clock. 52 laps here at Talladega is a long way indeed. And there you see the lights are off on the iRacing pace car. We're lined up behind 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through, getting ready to rock and or roll once again. Jarrett Boyer down on the bottom side in the NOS ride. Alan Kolowski up top. Jeremy James, Bob Leclerc, and Michael Taylor, the top 5 as they run. Luke Underwood and Taylor Lasowski, the top 7. Those 7 drivers did not come down to top off. Everybody from 8th place, Cody Eagles on back, did. And there you can see, as typical NASCAR rule fashion, if you come down pit road to top off, you have to restart on the inside line. So there's only 3 cars on the high side. Issues there for, I think that's Neagles? Handful of drivers running all the way down to the apron. I'm wondering if that was speeding penalties or what that was. Almost like dirt or something flying off of those cars. There's Bosky in the 3 car coming back. Just getting the lineup kind of squared away towards the back of the pack. That's one of the deals when you come down pit road. It's takes a second or two just to kind of figure out where everybody's supposed to be and get that communicated back and forth. And a lot of times you've got guys that are kind of talking over each other and this, that, and the other thing. But it looks like everything is all sorted out. Pace car driver's going to take that hard left-hand turn to the safety of pit road once again. Jarrett Boyer down on the bottom side. The 45 car, Kolakowski, up on the high side. Jeremy James, Bob Leclerc, and Michael Taylor going to be the top 5 for this restart. The virtual flash bulbs going off in the racetrack, and they're waiting for Barney to let them know it's time to go. Green flag flying once again here at the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. Last run, we made it about 26 laps before we caused ourselves a wreck. Came down pit road. See what happens here. 30 laps down, 50 to go here at Talladega. About a little 3-wide action for the lead. Bob Leclerc in the 42 car making it high, wide, and handsome, going all the way up to the top. Jarrett Boyer down on the bottom side. Kolakowski trying to make the middle side work. A little bit quicker to the action than the last run. These guys know what the car is going to do on a 26-lap run, so they're going to try and beat and bang as they need to early on. The 42 has some pushing help in that middle groove, the high groove, rather. 121 going to jump on back down. There's Wes Hogue in the 38. He's going to move up to the back bumper now of the 42 car. They're going to try and take over the middle lane. You can see just a huge push up around that outside. More drivers trying to get up to that extreme high line, up towards that outside safer barrier. Big push from the 38 into the back of the 42. Kolakowski in the 45. He's trying to get to the back bumper of Bolliard in the 97. Unfortunately, not quite able to close. Oh, car turned around. That's the 62 of the Superflow ride, pointed in the wrong direction. He's going to lock the cars up. You can see there's big damage there from Michael Taylor earlier on. The bumper car, we're going to slide right on off. We stay green. The 38 car inherits the lead down to the bottom side. They are beating and banging up there. 4 wide there for second and third on back. 6 car and Eagles all the way up top. There you can see Bolliard caught up in it in the 97 car. There's actual 4 wide for that third row. And these drivers making it stick. They know they've got 49 laps to go. It doesn't seem like a lot of time right now, but man, oh man, these guys are going to be able to really put on a show here for us. As you can see, they are still 4 wide on the front straightaway, just trying to get things sorted out. The middle of the groove, no, car down. I believe it's not the 49. 37, hard to see. There's a 5 car around down in the grass. Bolliard back up there as well. That is more than likely going to call the caution. There it is. Ziegler in the 05 gets a piece of the action. He's got a little squirrely pretty quickly there in that one. There's the 05. We'll back it up just a little bit more. What is the number on that? That's the 37 car. So that was where the first incident seemed to have happened. There's Joseph Fogg. Right in behind Lasowski there in the 11. You can see just kind of gets hooked. Doesn't hit anything, keeps it in the high gear, rips it down around the racetrack, but then you can see there's Bolliard and the 5 car. You can almost see that just as it gets into the screen there. Simultaneous spinning. There's the contact. So that was that 4 wide incident. Looks like Bolliard actually got loose, got up into the 5 car, down and around. A little off-road action. Everything looked good for the 97 until he came back up on track and just demolished the 05 car. It's going to put Bolliard down on pit road. Everybody else going to rejoin the pace car. Wes Hogue, the 38 car, is the leader. Bob Leclerc in the 42 running P2. Adam Kolakowski in the 45 car. Cody Needles and Jeremy James, the top 5 as they run. I got a feeling a lot of these guys are going to come right back down pit road, get a little bit of the virtual sheet metal beaten and banged on, and get some tires potentially. But more than likely, they're just going to come down and try and maximize their fuel, get this thing jammed on, packed full of fuel so they don't have to come down later on in this one. Looks like Bolliard going to retire from this race, as does Ziegler. Michael Taylor in the 62 car is out, as is Curtis James from an earlier incident, being shown 22 laps down. Don Ashton still in this one, but currently 2 laps down. Looks like he's going to get the free pass. Indeed, he does. So now to put the 17 car 1 lap down. And there are 20 drivers still on the lead lap. So that tells me there's still 21 drivers in this. 21 drivers could still potentially win this thing at Talladega. And we made mention we went about 26, 27 laps or so under green flag and ended up getting a caution flag. So we're not exactly sure what the maximum fuel capacity is on these cars, but I know these guys are not going to chance it. They're going to come down once again, and at top off, we'll probably see some guys towards the back, maybe get tires, but I got a feeling a lot of these drivers are just going to come down and fuel only to get a little bit closer to the checkered flag. In this one, you can see, right side's going up on the 22, so handful of drivers going to get it sorted out. There you can see the 49, the TJ Floyd going to get some tires, the 48 getting jacked up, Mark Mann getting some tires there, 37 going to get some of that virtual sheet metal beaten and banged on out. One driver staying out, going to be the 11, Taylor Lasowski. 8-lap-old tires on that nationwide ride. He's going to stay out and try and get a little track position. 38 car, first car off. Pit road, Alan Kolakowski, Alex Griffin, and Scott Thomas, the top 5. With 46 laps to go. Likely get the restart here. We'll get the 1 to go, I'm sure, this time by. Get a little quickie yellow action, as it were. Get everything kind of sped on up. Get everybody lined up 2 by 2. There you see it, quickie cautions. We're going to get those caution flag, or the caution lights rather, turned on off and get ourselves a double file restart. Oh, looks like the Lasowski machine going to take the high side, as he is going to utilize that choose rule that's been in effect all season. That came up in discussion, I believe it was last week after the race, the Big Red virtual trailer. Choose rule in effect for the leader. They can choose which line they want to take on the restart. You see the 11 going to move up to the top side. Puts Hogue down on the bottom in the 38 car. He's got the 45 of Kolakowski in behind him. 47 is there. 99 of Alex Giffen is there. Scott Thompson up there. 20 drivers on the lead lap. Don Ashton 1 lap down in P21. Jarrett Bolliard back out on track in the 97 car, albeit he is still on pit road. So he's getting damage worked on. Currently being scored at 2 laps down. Pace car going to jump on down to the safety of pit road. Once again, turning these drivers loose to take the green flag with 45 laps to go. Ever so closely approaching that halfway marker here at Talladega. There you see green flag flying. Taylor Lasowski able to get out by a couple of car lengths on that high line. He's going to try and get down to the bottom. Hogue going to tuck into his tire tracks, and it looks like the front 4, they're able to get kind of lined up and pull away by a little bit. The sights and sounds around the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. Single file action here. Once again, these drivers expecting a long run. We know they can make it at least 26 laps. That's how far we made it on that first run before the yellow flag came on out. These drivers were able to come down under caution. That's one thing we do still have to keep an eye out for as we cross the stripe for the halfway marker. 40 down, 40 to go here. These drivers haven't had to practice a green flag pit stop just yet, and that's a lot of times where you'll start to see some of the quicker guys get themselves out ahead as they try to utilize practicing with their teammates, getting it all sorted out and getting the communication across where they're going to be on track and down on that apron when they do try and make that green flag run. Albeit right now, everybody's still staying out front. The 11 car looking like he's having some connection issues just a little bit for Lasowski. He's got his teammate Cole Bohannon, or CB Attitude, the rowdy one, Wesley Hogan, 38 car, all over his back bumper here. Lasowski, the only driver that did not come down under that last caution there 6 laps ago. So he's got 13 laps since he's been down pit road. Gonna have to pit another 10, 15 laps or so. Gonna have to pit before anybody else does in this one. So he's gonna hope for a caution flag here, at least in a couple of laps, just to try and get everybody back on the same pitting window once again. Because right now the advantage would be to everybody that already came down under that last caution. They'd be on pit road for a little bit less time, and you can see able to kind of close that gap is the 47 car. The front two pulled away by a little bit. You can see the front bumper is laying it on the 11 car right now of the 38, and that third place car doing exactly what he needs to, just kind of riding in behind about 3/4 throttle, punching that air in or punching that hole in the air rather, to just kind of let it flow on through and pulling those cars away. You can see they're starting to pull away just a little bit from the Kulikowski ride, the country time Lemonade number 45 car. The front three pulled away a little bit, but they're able to kind of close that gap right back up. And you can see 3 cars kind of working together, being led by Kegels in the high side. The 6 car trying to make a comeback. Three cars on the high side, making that magic happen. Eagles rather. In the 6 car, back to the point. The 5 car, Matthew Baker, all over the back bumper, back into the top 5 after that wreck early on. I've got to say he's probably got a long pit stop. It looked like for the 5 car, so they may still have that quick repair in their back pocket, but albeit they're up towards the front. They brought Chase Mastreta there as well in the 8 car, and they're hanging pretty tough. You can see 3 cars down on the bottom side. They're still kind of hooked up. 3 cars working together up top. Everybody else just trying to find a way around Talladega Super Speedway. A lot of times that short side is the quickest way around, but they're going to drift up the track just a little bit, try and find where their car is handling just a little bit better. 17 laps now for Taylor Lasowski in that 11 car. He's going to start thinking about a pit stop here in a half a dozen or so laps. .37 laps to go. We saw a couple of onboard shots earlier on. You can see all those sparks from the cars. You were able to hear the car kind of dragging around this racetrack. I wonder if that is in fact by design for the setup, just to make sure that there isn't any air down on the bottom side, kind of keep these cars pushed up or tucked up underneath one another. Make sure we don't have anybody trying to pull on away. There's another lap led for I'll give that one to the 6 car of Eagles. National Guard up towards the front. And again, a big push from that 5 car of Baker. Those 3 cars up on the high side, the 6, the 5, and the 8, trying to make it work. They've got teammates that they're battling, though, down on the bottom side. soon as we throw the graphic up, we lose a driver down into the infield. It's Taylor Zasowski. He has wrecked it in a big way. We stay green, but there you see, we might get ourselves a debris caution. That thing is broken. He is still hitting the, he's got a little Eddie Guerrero action going on in that thing, and it looks like he's finally got it stopped. He's going to have to call for the wrecker here at this point. We still are green. We'll take a quick peek at what went down. There you can see just a bad bump from the 38 car. Gets down. Huge hit. Misses the cone, but there you see just pieces of parts flying off that thing. Does call for the tow truck, and he is down on pit road. Still green here with 35 laps to go. Taylor Lasowski, he's not gonna be out per se, but it's gonna take a long time to get that thing towed down to the infield, and gonna have to use his quick repair here just past the halfway marker. Cody Neagle's gonna take over the lead, and they get it kind of sorted out up front for the time being. 38 takes a peek down low, nothing quite there. He's going to tuck in to the 8 cars. And they got 3 cars up towards the front, Neagles, Bakers, and Mastretta rather. Back up front once again. Hogue going to tuck on in to the tire tracks. He's going to have to wait for one of his teammates to either come up to the top 5, or he's going to have to drop back and pick someone else up. I don't believe he has worked with the 47 car yet this evening, but we will see what he does here. Right now, all Neagles very, very quick in that number 6 car, and you can see it kind of battling it out here. 13 laps into this run, so they've got a little bit of time before they need to come down pit road. And there's still 19 cars on the lead lap in this lead pack. Don Ashton, the first car, 1 lap down. Lasowski still on pit road, it looks like. He's going to go down a 2nd lap here. Jarrett Bolliard back out on track. There he is, about to go a 3rd lap down as the leaders are catching up to him quickly. So Bolliard going to try and stay out, get as many points as he can on the evening. There you can see that Nosride getting ready to go a lap down as the field comes snaking on through down that long back straightaway here at Talladega Super Speedway. Once again, folks, live all over the internet, as it were, trying to take over. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, all that good stuff. Make sure you shoot on over to the YouTube page, hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell thingy down in the bottom left to get the notifications when we go live. All the races over the past 6 years, there are over 680 now live races on demand over there on the YouTube page. Hit that subscribe button. We got a lot of cool stuff coming on in the real racing and sim racing worlds over on the YouTube page. Going to be punching out a lot more content here in the coming weeks as we do a little bit of restructuring and rebuilding here and what we're calling the off season. It's not really an off season per se. It's that time of year where everybody puts the sim racing rigs back into the closet. They start working on the real cars and heading out to the real racetracks and that nature. All the same here. You know, I don't have a race car myself, but I do film them. So it's didn't really have much of an off season either. Worked a lot of races down in the southeast, down in Florida for the entire month of February. Excited to be home, but excited to be back out on the road and get chasing these race cars once again. But great racing action once again here on Tuesday night. Liberty Racing League. Handful of races left to go in this one. We are picking them up and putting them down as we see fit. There you can see the 11 car Lasowski back out on track. Had that quick repair. Has some connection issues still in that number 11 nationwide ride, but he's going to stay on the bottom side of the track. Whew, that wasn't much room down there. Wes Ho going to slide in front of the 11 car. He's going to try and get hooked up with those front 3 drivers. I think you'll be able to see that 38 car work with the those 3 cars and kind of stay with them, but I don't think he's going to be able to get around them. It looks like those guys have got it hooked up pretty well, unless Hogue is really able to push that 8 car. Ooh, Lasowski gets a bad bump down the bottom side. Still trying, the field trying to get around the 11 car. Lasowski currently 2 laps down after being involved in that last wreck. No caution, unfortunately, for that 11 car. He's going to tuck in line there. See if he can help out with some of the draft, as it were, in this. Being scored P21. The 6 car, the 5 car, the 8 car, still 1, 2, and 3 in Eagles, Baker, and Mastrada. And we're getting a little slicey. We're getting a little dicey. There you see Jarrett Bolliard in that 97 car. He's leading that outside line, but he's a couple of laps down. He got involved in a wreck early on. There you can see. He's going to try. Whoa, got right up to the back bumper of the 38 car. 38 saw a hole down on the bottom side, open back up. He's going to jump down to the bottom once again. There you can see as these cars go by that gopher cam, the sparks just flying as they are set very low to the ground here. 45 car going to try and take a peek around the outside, Nothing there. Going to tuck into the tire tracks of Jarrett Bolliard once again. And that's one of the frustrating things here is at the super speedway racing, you almost want to get in front of the driver in front of you. That's the point of the race. But a lot of times you'll get a handful of drivers that are a lap down or a couple laps down. In this case, Jarrett Bolliard in the 97, the 11 of Lasowski, they're both a couple of laps down. They're not really racing anybody around them for position, but you can see they are on the back bumper now of the 38 of Wes Hogue, trying to work with them on the outside, because you can see the 6, the 5, and the 8 have been working phenomenally well together on that bottom side, even when they were tucked up on the high side early on in the evening. You can see they're doing everything they can right now. Looks like they've even got some help from the 47 right in behind there. The 75 of Thompson is kind of in the mix. But right now, Hogue trying to do the magic up in the high side. He's got Bolliard running the back bumper. And they mentioned again, Bolliard multiple laps down due to an earlier wreck. Doesn't really have anything else to lose in this one. He's going to try and stay out as long as he can, as long as that car will stay in one piece to try and pass any of these other drivers that potentially could fall out as we get through here. And that's one of the things we haven't really seen so far at Talladega is that proverbial big one. Haven't really seen many big wrecks, if any, here so far this season. A couple of small little fender benders there, although I wouldn't call Lasowski's wreck a fender bender. They ripped that fender and kind of hucked it across the front straightaway like it was me taking down scaffolding at Auburndale Speedway last weekend for the weekend prior, but that's neither here nor there. We won't get into those details. Crossing the stripe, though, 27 laps to go. Getting into that fourth quarter form here. These drivers know they made it 26 laps earlier on. They could probably go another couple of laps if they needed to. There's 27 laps to go now, and they're on 20-lap tires. So math being what it is, that tells me these guys are going to be coming down within the next 5 laps or so. They got enough, a little bit of a cushion here. It's really going to be a matter of kind of chancing it, rolling the dice with your teammates, seeing if they want to come down with you or who's going to come down. You want to make sure that you don't come with everybody in case everybody wrecks. You don't want to go by yourself because then you don't have the drafting help. It's really a high-speed chess game while playing checkers, while going 180 miles an hour around this super speedway, 2.66 miles around this place here. And shout out to Chris R. Giving us the subscribe over on the YouTube. We made mention trying to get to 1,000 subscribers over on the YouTube page. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff with merchandise, subscriptions, and all sorts of extra perks. So you can see the 17 car Don Ashton getting ready. I believe he's going to go a second lap down here. Just came off pit road. So on a different fueling sequence for the 17 ride. Still hanging tough up there. Going to go up to the high side, get out of everybody's way, and let these guys go on about their race. Wes Hogue still making it work on the middle groove. But yeah, we appreciate everybody tuning in here this evening on a Tuesday night. Likes, subscribes, shares, all that good stuff. Especially over on the YouTube page. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the little bell notification. You get the notifications every time we go live, every time we post a piece of content. And we've got a lot of real racing stuff we're going to be putting up on the YouTube page here in the next coming weeks, especially next week. Got a lot of cool stuff on the go, and going to be doing a lot more stuff with myself as I'm out on the road chasing race cars and working these productions. Oh, a little contact between the 47 and Jarrett Bolliard up on the high side. They hang on to it. We stay clean. We stay green. Lasowski there in the back of the pack. He's going to gather a little bit of momentum, it looks like, on that high side. Once again, the 11 car a couple of laps down, but as is Bolliard in the 97, the Knott's ride there on the back bumper of the 38 of Wes Hogue. Teammates, though, so those guys are going to be trying to work together here as they drive by the entrance of pit road once again. The guy's going to have to come down pit road soon. Made it 26 laps. Hearing that's about the max. You don't really want to stretch it too far past that. You've got 24 laps at least at this point, so I feel like if you came down at this point, you're in the window. You're able to kind of close the door on the fuel mileage race. You'll have enough for the green-white checkered, and you'll be able to make it to the end if you need to. Ooh, car on the outside wall. That's going to bring out the caution. That's going to let these drivers kind of put the pit strategy in on the back burner. Big contact there for 3 of Foskey. You can see he is dog walking that thing. Going to try and get it down to pit road. Looks like he is there. Oh, big contact for the 48 as well. The right front on that thing is Barokski. We'll back up the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. See these two drivers back here for position. A little bit further on in the back. See the sparks flying out of the back of these machines. Almost looks like the 3-car kind of hit the apron. I think it snapped right. Looks like it brought the 48 car with them. I don't know. I hate using the term net code. That may very well have been net code there. Let's see the 3-car down on pit road. Foskey, there's the 48 car of Schroeder. Uh, big time damage for those rides. Everybody else, 25 laps since they've been down pit road, 22 to go in this one. It's going to be a sure fact that these guys are going to come down and get some Sunoco race fuel and potentially some tires. 2 sets of tires down on pit road. Some drivers might have taken them earlier on, but they might still have them down on pit road. This is a relatively smooth surface, so a lot of times you'll hear these drivers say the tires don't really much matter. But the thing that's going to matter most for everybody in this field is going to be that fuel. Got to make sure you get down pit road in one piece. This is the money stop. As you can see, everybody going to come down pit road. Terrible. You're going to stay out, try and get a wave around here and hope for a quick caution, get one of his 2 laps back in the 97 car. Wes Hogue, the first driver, down pit road, or off pit road, rather. Looks like 2 tires stopped for him. Everybody in behind taking 4 tires. 2 tires, actually looks like fuel only for the 21 of Luke Underwood. He's going to pick up a whole bunch of spots. And you can see a lot of these drivers are going to go down to the bottom of the apron and try and save some fuel as they need. 20 laps to go in this one. Take the fuel strategy, put it out the window. It is down to brass tacks. These drivers know that they are going to do everything in their power to get up towards the front. They don't have to worry about tires. They don't have to worry about fuel. They just need to worry about that track position. 38 car going to choose the bottom side. Neagle's up top. 5 car is their third in line, as is the 8. The Neagles, Estrada, and a Baker trio, they all came off pit road relatively close to each other. You can see the 8 and 5 already hooked up on the inside line. They've got the 6 up on the high side. They've been working great together all evening long as we're lined up 2 by 2 all the way through. Lights off on the pace car, getting ready to go green flag racing once again.
Howdy ho, neighbor.
Holy hail, Taylor Lasowski got his microphone fixed. How we doing, brother?
Oh, pretty good. I thought I'd pop up here and tell you I got a new mic.
Yeah, no, sounds great. It sounds a whole lot better than whatever the hell you had, whatever you were yelling into last week. Great hearing from you. What happened earlier on?
Oh, as per usual, got turned by my teammate. So, that's what we do best.
Luckily, right now, he doesn't have any teammates to wreck him as Wes Hogan to take the green flag from down on the bottom side. Neagle's up top in the 6 car. You can already see these guys all over each other's back bumpers. Getting down to the closing laps in this one. 20 laps to go, 19 once they cross the stripe. Looking up to Barney in the flag stand. He's letting them know it's time to go. Big jump from the 38. I'm not sure if that's the move he wanted to make because you saw Neagles slide right into the second spot. Those 3 teammates hooked up right in behind him now. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
It's real hard to pass in these cars. It's hard to get a run. And when you do, it's super hard to keep it going and to be able to get that outside line rolling. Oh, got
even
one
harder for the 75.
Inside wall. Scott Thompson.
Yeah, there you can see that front bumper cover flying on off. The AC/DC ride is cooked. He's been electrocuted. He's retired from the race. Old 80s metal joke. That's about all I got. Green flag still flying, though. Neagles takes over the lead, and there you see the 6, 8, and 5 trio hooked up on the bottom side. They all move down to the bottom. It's going to be tough trying to get around those drivers. You could already see Alec Karen in the 81 car. He's got some pushing help from, pardon me, the 42 who's going up to the outside. Just as I say that, Bob Leclerc going to jump down to the bottom side. He's going to try and slide on up in front of the 81. Gets a little squirrely. He's going to find a spot in front of the 38 of Wes Hogue for the time being. Hogue back in the 5th car in line down on the bottom. 81 of Karen. He's got a push from the 47. Here comes Floyd in the 49, the 4 of Seabrins. Haven't talked about him all evening long. The Jack Daniels number 4 ride up on the high side. He's got a little Pepsi action in behind him. A little Jack and Pepsi action always seems to work out. We'll see where those guys finish up in this one. Mark Mann there, Jarrett Bolliard there as well. Bolliard got that free pass last time by. He's going to have to pit here in the next couple of laps. He got 1 lap back, 2 laps down still currently. Going to have to pit here in a short amount of time if we don't get that caution flag. We're trying to stay out and gamble it just a little bit. 16 drivers still on the lead lap here at Talladega. 16 laps to go once they get to the stripe.
These cars tend to break loose getting into the corner. So let's see if we get a long run here. If they start to get a little squirrely, see how that affects the front of the pack.
Yeah, we saw you got in that wreck earlier on there, and looking through the timing and scoring, trying to see how many laps down you are. You're the first car 1 lap down out there, still digging in the 11th car. So cool comment collect, and his Taylor Lasowski is. You wouldn't have pictured that from the reactions we were getting through the potato you were screaming into last week, whatever that microphone was. But great to have you on board and in our ears this evening. And you can see right on the back bumper working with Jarrett Bollier just a little bit, just kind of trying to hold on to that draft, stay on up there, be that first car on the lead lap. There's still 16 on the lead lap right now of the 26 that took the green flag. And they're all still chasing that 6 car and Eagles down the bottom side. But once again, he's got the 8 and 5 right there hooked on up with him. Alec Karen has a little bit of pushing help on the high side, but it is going to be tough to get around those 3 cars.
Yeah, those 3 have been hooked up all night. When they get together, they can pretty much pass whoever they want. Whoa.
Ooh, having some issues
That was
with that 3 car.
dangerous.
Just came off pit road. Looks like he's got to go back to pit road. That thing is still broken. Number 3 car coming off a little bit on the cattywampus sign. 15 laps to go here in this one. That's enough time to get some food ordered on up. It should be here by the time we're done with the post-race show. Shoot on over to VidaneTV/DoorDash or scan that QR code there on the bottom right of your screen. We'll give you $8 off your first 4 orders. $32 in total. And that's for DoorDash. Be sure to let them know VidaneTV sent you, and they'll hook you up, save you a little bit of money, get you some food on the go. And there you see those 3 drivers down on the bottom side. They almost want to pull away. A lot of times in these super speedway races, you'll see the front driver, the leader, try and block 2 or 3 lines. These 3 drivers are trying to block each of the lines as one car. There have been times where that's worked in super speedway racing and sim racing. Very, very seldomly does it work. But these guys making it happen here so far, and making it happen, making it look relatively easy. I say that, and I finished 15th here a couple weeks ago in the Arctic. 2x2, about 12 rows deep, getting down to close to the single digits. A little 3-wide action for 3rd place. They're going to try and get it sorted on out. 47 car holding that high side. Doesn't have any help. Handful of cars in the middle groove being led by the 81 car, but they're not able to get up in towards those front 3 cars. It just seems like they've got that pocket of air set up and reserved. And they are lined up 1, 2, 3. They get a little squirrely there, but they sort it back out. That's one of the things that they're really able to kind of separate from a lot of the other teams, a lot of drivers. The 5 car goes up to try and block the 81 car of Karen. Does so, breaks up the momentum just a little bit. You can see it gets the few drivers a little bit further on back out of shape. Wes Hogan, 38 car, rejoins the fight. He's back behind the 49 of Floyd. And you can see as these drivers come off the corners, they're losing the back end of the car just a little bit, but they're really able to gather it back up quickly down on the bottom side. You saw in the trial the last time by the 6, 8, and 5 got a little bit squirrely, got a little bit messed up, whether it was an ill-timed bump or not quite as square, or maybe it was a little bit of a bump in the corner or in that tri-oval. They were able to get out of the throttle, regather their thoughts, hold on to that steering wheel, and then push it right back up to the back bumper. And that's good teamwork here in sim racing. That shows that these guys have worked well together for a long time, or even a short time, but in any sense. Making a little magic happen here. Going to be hard to get around them. And as I say that, 4 or 5 cars starting to jump up to that high side, trying to pick up a little bit of momentum here with 12 laps to go, coming to 11 once they cross the strike. 16 cars still on the lead lap. You can see everybody still pretty much within that main group there. The 11 of Lasowski up in the mix as well. He's the first car 1 lap down. Doesn't really have too much competition for that spot. The 48 car of Schroeder is also 1 lap down, but I do believe he's got some big-time damage from that earlier wreck. And that's one of the things we haven't really talked about too much here tonight was the quote-unquote proverbial big one. Had a couple of wrecks here tonight. Had a couple of wrecks that didn't even bring out the yellow flag. Some single car. I don't even want to call them spins because it was big contact, big debris fields. Big wrecks, as it were, but not the big quote-unquote one, as we usually see. But coming down to 10 laps to go this time, these guys are pushing front and back bumpers. They are beating and banging door handles. These guys know we're getting down to the single digits. They know we're getting closer and closer to that checkered flag. They're going to try and lock themselves into the playoffs here and earn themselves an opportunity for that championship belt at the end of the season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see here. They're starting to get a little bit more squirrely, starting to get the pushes and the bumps a little bit harder. So we'll see if it gets anybody knocked out and if we get that next big one with 10 laps to go here.
And whenever you think super speedway racing, you can't not think about Dale Jr. You can't not think about Martin Truex. And that's one of those deals. The 6 and the 5 have been working with the 8 all race long. It's almost like the 8 looked in his mirror and saw a Martin Truex paint scheme and said, you know what? It's like Talladega BR. We're going to go up onto the high side, try and make a little magic happen here with the closing laps. 9 laps to go for Niegels down to the bottom side. He's got Mastrada in the 8 car there as well. Check that. The 8 car, Mastrada's up on the high side.
Wes is trying to cut that middle line there and see if he can make a run, but I don't know if it's going to work.
seen him do that earlier on. He's been at least trying to do his homework in that 38 car, trying to see what it's going to take to make that middle groove work. It doesn't look like he's got enough power to get around that high side. Still clean and green at the time being. It looks like he's just going to try and shunt his way around the 49 of Floyd. Nope, going to tuck back into the tire tracks potentially. Hard to tell. You don't really want to push too hard. We started a couple of drivers in the YouTube chat earlier on say they overheat relatively quickly if you're not able to duck out in line and get air. So it's all about timing here at this point. 8 laps to go once they come to the stripe. Everybody up front within the front 12, 13 cars under a blanket. Anybody can come home with the win in this one. Car of Estrada going to move up to the high side or hold on to that high side. Starting to pick up some momentum now. There's evenly matched. The high side is the low line. That's usually when you'll start to see drivers break up into that third line. Jared Bolliard going to be the first one to do that. The 81 going to move up there, as does Wes Hogue in the 38. He's going to take a sniff, see if he can get there. Having to almost force his hand. There's Lasowski in the 11 car right there behind him, Taylor. Tough to see what he's going to do. The 5 car going to break out underneath. Eagles in the 6. Those guys no longer working together as the 5 and the 8, or the 6 and the 8 rather, get hooked up on the high side. The 42 drifts up just a little bit. Here comes the 4 of Rick Seabrans. The 95 Pepsi ride of James Mayers up into the mix as well. 7 laps to go at the line.
You know, everybody just tighten those belts a little bit tighter. It's getting squirrely up here.
Yeah, coming down to the end of this one, these guys know it's time to go. You may have a big wreck. You're going to get a late race restart here. You've got enough fuel. You've got enough tires. You don't have to worry about it. Look out the windshield. See who's there. Look out the rear view. See who's pushing you and try and get out in front of everybody. Eagles back down to the bottom side. He is in front of that 5 car. The 8 of Mistrada still up top. He's got TJ Floyd and Wes Hogue there in behind him. The 42 of Bob Leclerc. He's been up in the top 10 all night long. He's down on the bottom side. He's got Mayer in behind him as the Seabrans is there as well. Wes Hogue has his teammate, the 11 of Lasowski, right in behind him. Taylor's still 1 lap down, but he's the first car 1 lap down, so he's hoping for a caution, hoping he's not the caution. But man, oh man, the way these guys are racing here, come to the stripes, 6 laps to go. This is going to be an absolute barn burner.
Yeah, we're getting real tight up here. It's going to be real interesting. I'd be stunned if we make it to the end of the race without another caution. I'm just hoping I'm not in it.
And a lot of times with these big super speedway tracks, the front 90% of the race, or the first 90% of the race, you can see the 8 car going to move on down. He's going to take over the lead, and those 3 cars hooked up down to the bottom side once again. See if we get anybody that's able to get around him. TJ Floyd going to lead the top line until the 8 car slides on up in front of him. Not a whole lot of room there. Holy moly, made it work. That's going to close up the high line. They're going to try and move up to the 3rd line inside. You can see they're trying to blow. Goodness, TJ Floyd all the way down to Neagle, slams the door into him. High five for Barney in the flag stand as they went on by. Holy cow, they keep it pointed in the right direction. We're still clean. We're still green, at least for the time being. Can't even say we really stopped to take a breath because it's still 2 by 2 all the way through. You can see these guys trying to peek in where there's no room to get a little air on the front nose because they know they're going to have to push who's ever in front of them here in the closing laps. You can see Taylor kind of dipping into the middle groove, trying to cool that thing off. He knows he's not going to be able to get his lap back. He'll probably be all over the back bumper of the 38 car wherever he ends up going. There's Foskey in the 3, still limping that thing down around on the bottom side. Those Wranglers, they're a regular fit. He's kind of walking in circles down there in the 3 car, but still having themselves a points day back in P21, trying not to lose any more spots there. Look at all the sparks flying up in the front, though. Neagle's holding on to it. He's going to block the high side up in front, slides in front of the 8 car of Mistrada. There's more cars up on the high side now, and you're starting to see he's able to kind of pull. It looks like he's almost going to try and pull that 8 car down out in front to clear the 5 and maybe bring him on down. I love it when they do exactly what I'm saying. It almost makes it seem like I know what I'm talking about. TJ Floyd still on that high side. He's got Wes Hogue in the 38 car there. I believe they both have wins this season. Wes Hogue still trying to get himself a championship belt. He's come close many, many times in the Liberty Racing League, as at the Vidane Racing League, even the Sim 500 collab league we did with the championship belt, but now gotten one for himself to put on the mantle. He has been hungry. He has been wanting that championship belt for many, many moons. Doing what he can. And right now, you can see Jarrett Bullard in the 97 car getting ready to go a lap down. Don't believe it's going to be too much of an issue. He's all the way up on the high side. Everybody else going to get on down below him. And they get into turn 3 and 4, the 6, the 8, and the 5. They're hooked up down on the bottom side. TJ Floyd, Cole Bohannon, Taylor Lasowski up on the high side. Marin Seabrins are up there as well. Do not count out Jack Daniels and Pepsi. That combo I think we're going to be having a little bit later on in this one. But there you can see, got to turn number 4. They go past the entry of pit road, coming to popsicle sticks. Pick your favorite ice cream. 2 laps to go here at Talladega. Fuel mileage out the window. Tire strategy out the window. It's all about who's pushing you, who you're pushing, and who's going to cross that start-finish line for the final time in front. Less than 2 laps to go here. The 6 car holding on to it. A couple of drivers starting to lag back just a little bit. This is going to be a monstrous last lap. Long as they take the white flag, the next flag ends the race. And one thing to keep in mind, off of turn 4 on the last lap, anything goes. Long front straightaway here. We've heard this story all over the past decade. Sim racing, real racing. The start-finish line all the way down in turn 1 to sell seats. Everybody down there. Oh, contact up front. They beat and banged the 8 car down to the bottom side. We're still green. We took the white flag. Holy cow! Whoa! That was intentional. No doubt in my mind. But in any sense, we stay green. The 6 and Eagles still holding on to the lead. There's Wes Hogue all over the back bumper. He is in between the 5 and the 6 car. If the 38 jumps high, he's not going to have any help unless he can get that high line to jump on up there with him. 38 car all over the back bumper of Neagle's going to do what he can. The 11 of Lasowski bumps the 5 up out of the way. The 38 car going to try and bump the 6 up out of the way. Does he move on up to his teammates? No, he's going to slide on up. Try and make that happen. Hogue around, gets turned off the front bumper of the 11. That is no bueno. Still wrecking across the line. 4 wide as we come through the tryover, beating and banging. It's the last man standing, and I think it's going to be Neagles. It is Neagles. That was interesting. Taking a look at the slow motion replay as they come across the stripe. Looks like Neagle's going to finish in second. Wes Hogue going to finish in, or no, check that. Cody Neagle's going to finish in first. Timing and scoring has Hogue finishing second, but I don't know if that's accurate because he didn't cross the start finish line.
I believe Bob Leclerc finished second to Cody.
Yeah, timing and scoring is all kinds of wonky, so that's kind of fun. But in any sense,
yeah, I see Cody Eagles coming home with the victory, Bob Leclerc in second, and Matthew Baker coming home in third.
There you see the 6 car going to burn them on down. We'll give these guys an opportunity to maybe hop into the old driver chat or the old Discord and get their post-race interviews on. But if not, another one in the books here. And hell of a finisher towards the end there, Taylor.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The 8 car clearly came up and tried to wreck the entire field. They're coming to the white, but yeah.
A little bit on the wild side. You can see the 6 car of Negan still burning them down. It's always fun to get the old burnouts out of the way. Doesn't look like, oh, no, we're going to get our second place driver up in this mess. It was like 7th in line coming to the start-finish line for the final time to the checkered flag. Going to come home P2 unofficially, the 42 car, Bob Leclerc. Bob, how we doing? How we feeling?
Well, pretty good. Started all the way to the back, so I'm pretty satisfied with second. Needed to go up in points because I was falling off from the top 16, but now I know that I'll be back in there.
That's what it's all about.
How'd you think of these cars all night? They were kind of a handful.
Well, they are squirmy. That I'm gonna tell you. They are, if you don't hold the steering, you're fucking gone. But they drive pretty good. But if you don't change tires about before the second tier, you ain't driving until the finish. They're way too squirmy to have whole tires to get to the end.
just taking a last look at that final replay, just down on the apron, down on the grass, just making the magic happen. We saw it discussed after a few races ago. Turn 4, last lap, anything goes, anything can happen, and made that magic happen. We'll give you a chance, Bob. Who's out there watching? Who gets you tuned from the virtual racetrack?
Well, shout out to the mama who's watching right now. And shout out to my friends who are watching too. I was supposed to game with them. It's a race night every Tuesday, so I said I can't this tonight. But they are watching right now, so I hope they subscribe to you because always good content from Vidane. But yeah, no, shout out to them and shout out to Wes too for always this league, always that chaotic but fun.
That's what it's all about here, entertaining the masses on or at Vidane TV, as it were. You took the words right out of my mouth. Make sure you hit that subscribe button over on the YouTube, as we've got a whole bunch of content over there. And we'll slide on over and talk to our third place driver. Know we've got a couple of fans out there in the Baker bunch. Matt, you finished unofficially third, it looks like. Up in the front, looks like with some teammates or even some friends up. It looked like you guys were putting on a clinic up towards the front.
Oh yeah, it was fun throughout that first run for sure. Got kind of put back towards a bad situation at the end or towards the middle of the race, but we were able to work our way back up front. But yeah, it was crazy coming out of Ford, just trying to figure out which lane to go with, and Cody's trying to figure out who he needs to block, and made it basically a 4-wide finish that got turned sour in the tri-oval. But nonetheless, it was good.
Yeah, hell of a run here tonight. Very, very strong, and kind of showing the I don't want to say the basics, because I mean super speedway racing, it is kind of basic, but you guys knocked it out of the park with the strategy and the teamwork and everything going on here tonight. So a solid effort and a solid showing here forward. We'll give you an opportunity to thank the ones that are out there watching. Who gets you to and from the virtual racetrack?
Yeah, just thanks to Coasting Thunder, MG Motorsports, Baker and Son Construction. Uh, Running an old paint that I won a lot of money with back probably 4 years ago. It's Folds of Honor paint. So glad to have them on board for this race. Thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast, and Wes for putting on the league. Just wish when Cody and I are up front, most of the race, and then they start jabbering about wanting to wreck us there on the last lap. It kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth. People are going to race like that at the end, but I guess you get frustrated when the same people keep winning races or finishing up front. But we'll just keep trying to stay up front and hope to avoid it at all costs each week. But thanks for putting on the broadcast. Can't wait to go back and watch it.
Absolutely, steel sharpening steel. You can't make a sharp point out of a butter knife. Well, I guess you could, but in any sense, it all works out.
It's called a shank.
It's called a shank, indeed it is. And this guy shanked the field. Cody Neagles almost missed his interview because he was burning down those rear set of tires. Great race here tonight. I was just talking to some teammates of yours. Great work all evening long. What'd you see through the rear view and the windshield coming to the checkered flag?
It's been such a long time since I've run this particular package. It's definitely a lot different. It's got a lot shorter, smaller spoiler. Car has trouble getting connected, it seems like, unless you tap the brake and tap back to the guy behind you to kind of break that bubble. It seems like runs, if you're, 2/10 off of the guy in front of you, it's really, really hard to generate a run. And I mean, you almost kind of have to manufacture it yourself. Teamwork is I feel like the top priority in this, and it's just tough. It seems like it's tough to get any kind of runs if you don't have someone, to work with. And I was kind of fortunate. I was hoping we'd have a green flag pit stop in the race, but we're able to. We stayed up front. We tried to keep fresh tires, which I think that was kind of the strategy with the whole field. It seemed like everyone, it was 4 tires every time. Car was getting tight over the long run, so it's just try to maintain track position and don't try to give up too much of it. And if we got marred back a little bit, we'd try to get up front as quick as we could.
What do you think separates you guys from some of these other guys out here? That you think it's the teamwork that makes the biggest difference with you going from the back to the front versus anybody else? That especially with these cars that seem to need that a little bit more than some of the other series that we run.
Yeah, me and Baker have ran for years together, and we have pretty good chemistry, which I know a lot of the guys in here can say the same about their teammates and stuff. But, me and Baker have ran a lot of higher level races in very, a wide variety of fields, whether it be kind of like the top heavy fields or just loaded fields in general. And it's really, I think, kind of honed our craft on being able to be flexible, understand who you're running around, and try not to cause too much crap, because you have to understand, in like a field like this, you're going to have guys that are good and they can hold their line, and then you're going to have guys that, they might only get on here like once or twice a week, and you have to respect that, because there's going to be a wide spectrum of skill sets, and just everyone has lives. This isn't, everyone's not getting on here and just living on here, so you just have to be mindful of that and just know who you can race hard around and who you probably need to give a little bit of space to.
Well, you can say that again. Some of our guys are definitely on the spectrum. So
I love that.
That's why we don't get along.
That's good. You can't take it too serious. I know Baker kind of touched on the whole, us getting doored, and I get it. It's good. I'm okay with most of it. As long as nobody gets wrecked. And obviously I think Chase he obviously took it over the top. I think I went back and kind of looked at the whole thing, and, I'm not sticking up for him. It was excessive, but I think there's just a little bit of frustrations boiling over, once he got hit kind of off the track. But it is what it is. We're on here to blow off some steam from, a tough day at work and just our regular lifestyles and stuff. So I don't take any of it personal. And I hope that, everyone in here kind of understands that Baker and I have no ill will, and, hopefully they don't start holding a grudge toward us on the track, because I feel like we've raced everyone clean. At least I believe so.
That's what it's all about, putting on a show here at VidaneTV. We'll give you one more opportunity to thank anybody else out there that's watching who gets to and from the virtual racetrack.
Yeah, got to thank my teammates at MBG and Nightmare Esports, and I know Matt wasn't here tonight to run with us, Matt Lee, but he'll be back. I think he said he was going to be back next week, so hopefully we can have a continued strong showing, and hopefully no more fireworks at the end. And thank you guys for the broadcast as well. I always got to give you guys a shout out, and I got to give Wes a shout out too for putting on this league, and it's been I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been a blast all season long so far here with Liberty Racing League. And speaking of Wes, we've caught up with him down on pit road. Wes, what's it going to take to get you to win one of these friggin' things, man?
Well, I won earlier in the season at a track I'm not supposed to win at, but then lost at the race that I win at every year. So I don't know, man. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Those cars are boring as heck. We ran these last year in the finale, which was a completely different ball game. We ran a different setup, where they were a lot more slick and the rear end came out more. And I was kind of expecting that tonight. But we ran the default weather instead of like the 120-degree weather that we ran before. So the cars were a little bit more calm, which led to the calmer racing there to an end. But as Matt or Cody said, I wish we would have got some green flag stops in, even though I messed up the fuel and the tire setup. But there was still an opportunity to get at least 2 or maybe even 3 stops in this race of green flag racing. But it's what's going to happen. And, anger's going to boil over. We're racing with the same people for 16 straight weeks. It's kind of like if you go somewhere and you go on a trip with a bunch of people and you're with those people all the damn time, you're going to bicker, but at the end of the time, we all have fun. I do want to apologize for the 8 car of Chase. He won't be back. We can't, that's unacceptable. I mean, typically we don't have to check lineage and, do DNA tests, but I guess we got to see if people have the same parents or actually their aunt, uncles. And, when you have a couple extra chromosomes rolling around and someone that can't count to 5, unfortunately that's what you see there. But, it's 2026. Now, I guess you got to accept everybody all these days, but thankfully in Liberty, we don't. So for now on, with new members, we're going to have to make sure that their cousin, their aunt, and their mom isn't the same. So we don't have to worry about inbred crap like that.
And if that doesn't work out, there's always a career in TV.
Yeah, absolutely. But other than that, man, it's a lot of fun. It really is. This is what we do for an hour and a half for a week, and we go back to our everyday lives of kissing babies and shaking hands, or shaking babies and kissing hands, depending which route you want to go. I tend to do both, and I don't wash my hands afterwards.
Well, if that didn't get you canceled, Paul, so it was a great night on VidaneTV.
Indeed, it was. It's going to wrap things up here for us on a Tuesday night. Easy enough for me to say. I haven't even been drinking tonight. Be sure to shoot on over to the YouTube page, hit the subscribe button, check out some of the 675 plus videos on demand from when we started this thing back during the pandemic. We'll catch you on the flip side, and when we do, we are going to be doing it live.